Madam Speaker, honorable members, we have a social crisis on our hands. The ANC has broken its promise to deliver a better life for all. For most South Africans, life is bleak. As my colleagues have said, 8.3 million South Africans are without work in this country. That is the 8.3 million, many of whom are young people and breadwinners who are feeling discouraged and hopeless. Without hope, many are forced to turn to crime to support their loved ones and get caught up in substance abuse. The burden of support is increasingly falling on the elderly who are forced to use their grants to support entire families. Add to all this, the dire state of economy, the rising food prices, and the drought, and we really face serious social challenges. Ukwentuleka komsebenzi esikhuluma ngako namhlanje, mungamele ngimhloniphayo, kuholela ebumpofini obungachazeki. Lobu bumpofu bunomthelela ezimpilweni zabantu, imikhakha yonke yezimpilo zabo. Kuyacaca ukuthi ngendlela esikhuluma ngayo nangendlela engizwa kungezwakala ukuthi kuthekani ngokuthi sizokwenzani ngalenkinga esinayo. Kufanele sizimisele ukuthi sizoba nabantu abazobulawa inkengane kuleli lakithi ngenxa yalokhu kuntuleka komsebenzi. Lengqinamba esibhekene nayo bakithi ithinta ezemfundo, ithinta ezempilo, and ithinta ezenhlalakahle. Okuyiwona mgogodla wenqubekela phambili yemphakathi, ikakhulukazi abantu abahlala endaweni zasemaphandleni. Bese ke ubuye ufaka nokuvalwa kwama-NGOs okwenza isimo esibhekene naso sibe mazonzo mongameli ngimhloniphayo. Madam Speaker, we risk being overcome by hopelessness driven by
definitely not madam.
Sorry, Deputy Speaker. We risk being overcome by hopelessness driven by an uncaring government that has forgotten the poor and the most vulnerable in our society. In a context like this, our country needs, more than ever, a battalion of caring, patriotic, and skilled social services professionals that are trained to give practical help and guidance to those who need it most. The NDP, remember that document, state that a total of 60,000 welfare service practitioners will be needed by 2030 to meet South Africa's needs for social welfare. Yet, in October 2014, the Minister of Social Development advised that there were only 17,441 operational social workers in the country, and that is less than a third of what we need. As a result of the failure of government to fill these posts, South Africans suffering from the effects of crime, of drug abuse, and domestic violence are being left to fend for themselves. This is while more than 2,500 unemployed graduate social workers sit without jobs, and those jobs were promised by the department along with their bursaries. Their stories are heart-wrenching, Deputy Speaker. I would like to just share two of the many stories that I have received from these young people. And I open the quote. I am an unemployed social worker on a social development bursary. I'm from a disadvantaged family where nobody is working. I worked very hard at university to take my family out of poverty, only to be disappointed that the Department of Social Development promised us employment, but while we were interns, we were told via an SMS one Friday not to report for work on Monday. I feel like I need a social worker, close quote. Another story, Deputy Chairperson. An open quote. Going to university, please listen to this, please listen. Going to university was not easy since I have no one. I worked as a domestic worker to raise my registration fees. I got the DSD bursary, and sometimes I slept on an empty stomach. But I knew one day I would change my background and that of my community, but I'm still waiting. This is a real life story in this country. These graduates, one of whom said to me in a letter, and I quote, I had been dumped like a used condom. They want nothing more than to take their place in putting their heart and skills to use.
Honorable Masango, your time has expired.
Thank you.